Okay, story time. Let me tell you about the time that I was... Hey guys, welcome back to another Top Take with me, Marseille. The time has come again, guys. Another Club Shay Shay interview. Oh, correct me, conversation. Because I had someone in the comments in the last video reminding me that it was a conversation and not an interview. Shannon Sharp is feeding the content on Top Takes at the moment. So there was a recent interview with a multi-award winning actress and comedian Mo'Nique. And of course, if you know anything about Mo'Nique, she spilled all the industry tea. Now that's not what we're getting into today, although it was juicy. And a lot of the things she said I actually agreed with. But again, not the topic of conversation. The thing that actually caught my attention was this. So hubby and I were on the couch watching the Mo'Nique interview together. And there is a specific part in the interview where she explains why she does not audition for roles anymore. And it was at that point that my husband paused and turned to me and asked me, "What do you think about that?" And so I took a beat to think. I think initially it sounded arrogant. I was like, "What do you mean you don't audition?" But when I took a moment to actually reflect on what she said and then also liken it to the creative industry, I realized I'm 100% on board with what she says. I realize I'm in 100% agreement. And here's why. Now, I know they're not the same thing, but when I liken auditioning to pitching for projects, that is a complete no-no for me. And I've said it in season 1 of the podcast, that is just not something that I do. I think that my time could be better spent than pitching for projects. So here's what I mean by pitching for projects. Submitting concepts, ideas, initial designs, strategies, or any creative input to potential clients in order to secure a project, job, or role without payment. But let me be clear, I know that design agencies and other industries work slightly differently. So I'm not talking to you guys. I am talking specifically to independent creatives. This is my personal take on the matter. Here are the reasons why I do not pitch for projects. Now, these are my personal reasons. If you want to, that is totally up to you. Feel free. You like it, I love it. But for me personally, it's just not for me. And here's why. The whole point of my portfolio is evidence of my capabilities of projects I've worked on, the skills that I have, my experience, and the clients I have also worked with. Personally, I feel like it devalues my work, my time, and me, and maybe creativity as a whole. It suggests to me that you don't know what to look for in my portfolio, and so therefore you feel entitled to me to create something to convince you that I am the right candidate for the opportunity. In asking creatives to pitch, there's an inherent expectation and belief that doing work for free is okay. And I vehemently disagree. I think even if someone was to pay me to pitch for work, I probably still wouldn't do it because I feel like my time could be better spent not to convince someone that they should work with me. I'd rather put my time and energy elsewhere. And I get it from a client's perspective. They want to feel confident that you are exactly right for the job at hand, that there'll be no money or time wasted in hiring the wrong person. I completely get that. So here's what I would do instead. If you are someone who's looking for creative talent, these are the things to look out for. And if you are a creative who wants to avoid pitching for work, here are some tips I would recommend instead. Okay, look out for, or if you're a creative, have an easily accessible and available portfolio that clearly shows your work, your thought process, the reasons behind the choices you've made, and the actual outcomes. Clearly detail the design strategy and thinking. Don't just rely on sleek outcomes, but also show your reasoning and rationale, and clearly indicate what your contribution was to the project. Look out for or clearly highlight relevant experience, projects, clients, and expertise. Look out for or highlight achievements, accolades, awards, and testimonials. A combination of these things should be sufficient. Okay, story time. Let me tell you about the time that I was duped into pitching for work. So I have my phone here for notes because I did go back into the email archives and pull up the emails from that time. So this was around 2017, and a guy that I know was working at an agency, and he got in touch with me to do some illustrations for an upcoming project / exhibition. So this is the email. Obviously, I'm going to edit out like key things so we're not identifying the agency or the person. And, you know, I'm familiar with this person, so I don't think they'll mind me sharing. Okay, the email goes, thanks for the call earlier. As mentioned, we have a project that we would like illustrating. We are looking for a loose representational sketch that is unquestionably the recording artist in question, but is clearly a drawing and not a photograph. And then they give reference to a relevant project, so I know the style that they're looking for. Okay, time is key to the brief as we need 100 illustrations, possibly 50 or more to work with in the timeline. Let me know what your availability is like and if this is something you can do. I think next steps would be getting a test version of an illustration mocked up so we can estimate how long one will take and get the styling right. Any problems or questions, just give me a shout. So yeah, no suggestion except for test illustration that this was pitching, and even in the test it was to determine how long an illustration was going to take and make sure the styling was right, not to make sure that I was right for the project. Okay, so after a bit of back and forth in terms of deadline, when he wants it by and everything, I did a few rough drafts. I think I did 3 rough illustrations and sent to him, let him know the time frame, and also asked, like, is this the style aesthetic that you're looking for? Now, upon reflection, when I look back, these illustrations are pretty dead, I can't lie. I mean, they're supposed to be simple line work, but they could be better. But clearly at the time I thought that it was fine. So anyway, after submitting the illustrations, and this was the response that I got. Thanks for this, Marseille. Really appreciate the effort and options you've provided. We're going to discuss and review all submissions this end and hopefully make a decision by the end of the week. We'll keep you posted. Submissions, eh? Keep me posted, eh? None of that was mentioned in the previous email. And it actually really ticked me off. Now, at this point, I think 2017, I had just started freelancing and I didn't really have that confidence just yet. But boy, did I respond to that email. Thanks for the update. I don't think you are completely transparent regarding the process. From our conversations, I understood that you wanted me to produce the illustrations for the project as you felt my style was the right fit, and that the test images was to determine how long it would take me to produce the complete 100 illustrations. If I had known that this was a competition, so to speak, I could have recommended other illustrators as my focus is primarily branding. However, as I have sent through the designs, I look forward to the outcome and the next steps. As nicer than I'd probably send today. I think I responded well, considering, but I totally was duped into pitching for work. And honestly, it's just not something, even at the beginning of my self-employment journey, was never something I was comfortable with or wanted to do. And it really did feel like a waste of my time. Now, obviously, there's no hard feelings between me and this person. We're still cool to this day. But it was really funny looking back just to kind of see how all of that transpired, and not something that I would allow to happen again. So there's my take on why I do not pitch for projects. And shout out to Mo'Nique for standing firmly on business and knowing her worth and not choosing to audition. I mean, her accolades speak for themselves. Okay guys, that's today's top take. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you took something from it and you were able to decide whether pitching for projects is for you or not. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next one.